Hi everyone, hope you're doing okay. It seems slightly strange, but this video marks 6 months of doing these little weekly videos. We started in February, and it's now just coming into August. And obviously the last 4 months of those 6 months we've been in this situation of pandemic, of lockdown. So doing the videos has been a nice thing to do. It's been something to think about, something to mark the passing of time, and I had a bit of a look back at the videos that we've seen over the last 6 months, and we've done a bit of terrain making, we've done some painting videos, we've done some rules discussion, we've done some videos on how I put books together. We've done some look at warbands from the woods. We did a short series on that, which I'll be adding to. So I'd really at this point like to get some feedback from you. Some of those videos have been short, some of those videos have been long. So yeah, I'd like to invite some feedback at this point as we look towards moving forwards. Which things have you enjoyed? Which things would you like to see some more of? The things that we haven't done that you'd like to see covered? Are some of the videos too long? Are some of the videos too short? Is there something about the way that we, or that I should say I, am shooting the videos that you'd like to see changed? Got some tips for improving them? Do let me know. It's great to have your feedback. So I thought that to mark every 6 months of doing these, we should do a painter's progress video showing the miniatures that have been painted over the last 6 months, and the last 4 of those being lockdown months. I've probably got more painting done than I would have done otherwise, so I have got quite a full table here to show you, and I will be concentrating probably on those things that we haven't yet seen, because already we've covered a few things in the videos. So these Hero Quest diorama figures, we've covered those already in the videos. These Hero Quest heroes, we covered painting those, so I'll move those out of the way. There's the miniatures that I did for the painting challenges that we did, and if you'd like to see more painting challenges, do let me know. We can always arrange those. They're fun to do. So there was the fix a miniature category. There was the paint the ugliest miniature that you can find category. There was the paint the oldest miniature in your collection category. There was the paint something from the woods category. The paint stuff from Factious Waste are over there in that corner. But I think all of those, I have to lean in quite far here on the table. I think all of those we've already taken a look at. So let's have a look at some of the things that you may not have seen, although I may have posted on blogs and Facebook forums about them. So the first one is this this diorama here. This was for a Middle Hammer painting competition. We were looking at painting plastic miniatures from the 90s. So this is the Warhammer Quest Witch Elf, the Warhammer Quest Dark Elf Sorceress, and the 4th edition plastic Dark Elf that I made up into this little diorama for replicating the cover of the 4th edition Dark Elves Armies book, which has always been a bit of a favourite. As you can see, I still have the banner to do. It's not quite finished. I need to paint the skull on that and attach that to the banner pole. But quite happy with this. I reposed the sword arm here. She's normally holding it above her head. So reposed that to better match the artwork on the cover. Adjusted the wrist here with the sword to bring that up to the angle that's more in line with the cover. And then this superb dinosaur at the back here, this cold one, this was one of the Troll Outpost figures that's now with Crack-On Games, and I think they've got those in stock now, so do pop over there. They're really Really nice figures. Take a look at those. And then the top of this is cobbled together from a 4th edition Dark Elf Warrior, the legs of the 5th edition Bretonnian Knight, some various plastic horns and bits, but everything plastic. Tried to keep everything on here, plastic miniatures, except for the resin dinosaur. But, yeah. So there's a plastic diorama celebrating the glories of 4th, 5th edition. I've just recently painted this Impact Miniatures Blood Bowl Famir. He's called a Chaotic player or Chaotic Mutant player or something like that, but he is Blood Bowl Famir, definitely. Painted him up to add to my Famir army, and that was a Famir Facebook group challenge. It's been a long time since I painted Famir. I've got a fairly sizable army, and they were one of the first things that I did when I got back into gaming, so it's nice to revisit. I've wanted to pick up this miniature for ages, and then it sat on my shelf for a long time. It's nice. It's a nice sculpt. The head and the armor particularly nice. I kind of feel like they maybe lost it a little bit when they moved on to the hands and to the legs here. The feet are not as well defined as they might be. The hands are a bit lumpy, so there's definitely some weird anatomy going on there. And if I had, say if I had the time, of course I've got time at the moment, but if I had the inclination, I would probably change these, chop these wrists off, chop these feet off, and resculpt something with weapons to put in my army. But I was looking for something that I could paint for the challenge, so I thought that was a good model to pick up. I have of course been doing the Dreamstone miniatures, painting them up firstly for the Kickstarter, and secondly for the painting guide that's going with the set. So that's all. All the Kickstarter stuff is pretty much done now. I've just got a bit more proofreading to do on that, but then there'll be some more miniatures to paint for that in the future. But they were a nice break. Time to do some brighter colours, some slightly larger scale stuff. Very, very fun miniatures to paint there. Right, so let's move on to this scene proper. In the back here, I don't know if you can see, these are some ex-Grenadier, now Moonraker miniatures Future Warriors. I painted up a unit of those as a unit of Imperial Guard to go with my Commissar and my Beastmen that I had done previously. One of the first things that I did during lockdown was to paint these Hobya for the Woods. They were one of our more recent releases that didn't have painted miniatures, so I needed to get those painted to go in the shop, along with the later of the Fey Marshal, the armed Fey. There was a set of 3 that were designed and sculpted to go a set of 3 on foot, accompanied by a set of 3 mounted. So I painted up 3 on foot. The 3 mounted, I still need to work on those. But mostly what I've been doing is Wood Elves and Barbarians. If you've been on any of the Facebook forums, the Old Hammer group, the Middle Hammer group, Wood Elves have really been the in vogue thing during lockdown. So I saw back in March, early April, some people producing some really beautiful Wood Elf paintings, and so that inspired me to actually strip some of the Jez Goodwin war dancers and warriors that I had. Now these are quite rare in my collection, in that these are things that I had from when I was collecting first time round, when I was in my teens collecting. Most of those things I got rid of, but these for some reason I kept hold of. I'm very glad I did, but they had a terrible paint job on them, so I broke my rule of not stripping figures that I'd done, and I stripped these, and I'm much happier with the paint job that I've been able to put together on those in the last few months. So I've got some war dancers there and some warriors, and I actually had to get hold of some archers because I didn't have any wood elf archers. My first wood elf army had those. I think they were 5th edition plastics with the big clunky cloaks around the back. I really don't like them. So I replaced them with some other plastics. These are the wood elves from the regiments box set from 3rd edition, along with a couple of the early Sylvan elves in there to mix it up a bit. And of course, the Trish Morrison Treeman there. I was a bit torn with this because I really wanted to paint this model because it's a beautiful figure, and it was in the first battle report in the first White Dwarf that I ever bought. So I'd been collecting for a while, but living in a village in rural Dorset with no Games Workshop store anywhere near me, or certainly that I could get to. Hadn't come across White Dwarf until quite a bit later, and then when I started collecting White Dwarfs, this figure was in the battle report, so that may date it. Answers on a postcard if you can work out which one that was. I'm not going to tell you, but this treatment was in Mike McVeigh's Wood Elf army that was used in that battle report, and so I kind of wanted to paint this one up in a way that matched the colour scheme when I first saw it in that battle report, but it was very brown, and really trees aren't brown. So I hummed and hawed, and I decided in the end to go with a more sort of naturalistic kind of silver birch looking, because actually the bark texture on a lot of this figure is very smooth, kind of striped birch kind of bark. So I decided to go with that, and also most of my figures are quite dark. Certainly in this army I tried to go for sort of bright greys to pop them a bit, but to keep it mostly quite dark colorations so that they can hide in the shadows of the wood. So I wanted this to be a bit of a kind of bright to stand out against them. And this was such a wonderful model to paint. This was painted in maybe an hour, just over an hour, with just loads of washes and dry brushes, and it was really fun because there were so many textures on this model, and it just sprang to life the moment the first wash hit that. All the textures just popped, and it was just wonderful model to paint. Really happy with that. And the other thing that I've been doing is Barbarians. So a couple of years ago at Bring Out Your Lead, and there's an article on this on my blog, I picked up the Slanya the Horned God miniature from the 2000 AD range when Foundry stopped selling those, lost the license to the 2000 AD stuff. So I thought, I've got to have this miniature, so I picked that. It's a massive, great stonking model. And at the same time, they were releasing some ex-Citadel Barbarians, re-releasing those. So I picked those up, and I thought that made a nice little unit altogether. And then in successive years, I have been picking up more Barbarians and adding them into the clan. So what I've got here, there are some Foundry models here, but then mostly Ralpatha Europe Barbarians. They do sort of barbarian clans, so there are some savages here, there are some tyrants, some reavers up here, really sort of mixing them in together, and a couple of the Asgard early Barbarian sculpts. These are available from Alternative Armies, and who's got them in the States? Is it Iron Wind Metals, I think? Possibly. Don't know. Check that one out. Anyway, so definitely these are available from Alternative Armies in the UK. And so yeah, I've built up and painted quite a clan of these, and of course, as soon as these were painted, I restocked. So I'm halfway through painting some more that are the Mark Copplestone classic Grenadier Fantasy Barbarians, as far as I'm concerned. If it's not a Mark Copplestone Barbarian, it's a copy. So all of these I think are not mark cobblestone, but they fit in quite nicely. It's just, I don't know, there's something about a really chunky mark cobblestone barbarian that just says barbarian when nothing else does. There are a few oddments in here. This is a Games Workshop Bjorg, Bearstrux, Bearman of Urslo figure. There's an old Games Workshop female barbarian warrior there that I found in the car park when I was clearing up after Salute last year. So there's a free Salute miniature for me, woohoo! And obviously, speaking of Salute, this stonking great Mammoth the Elephant in the middle of the table. So this is from Heroes of the Dark Age. This is the Chieftain's Mammoth, and 2 years ago at Salute, one of my friends got this miniature and got it home, and I saw it on his shelf and I thought, that's brilliant. There's so much animation. Normally mammoths are sort of 4 feet on the floor, looking straight ahead, big as you can make them, and this one's slightly smaller. It's a normal kind of relevant to mammoth size, to the size of the figures in it, but just with its foot up here and its head twisted, there's so much animation in this pose, it really stood out. I swapped over the, it was really inexpensive as well. I think these are £12, £16, something like that. So when I was at Salute, the next year I sent my mate off to go and get me one of these, and he came back with this, so I was very happy with that. So that's now got painted up. I've swapped out the howdah on the top. It had a very little, like a chieftain's tent on the top, and I swapped that out for this Scotia Grendel piece that was on the back of a giant lizard that I've got with my Vermeer army that doesn't have this on the top now. So I thought I wanted to put a few more troops with spears and bows on the top there, so that there's some fighting potential around the sides of the mammoth, as well as the massive great tusks here. A cobblestone barbarian up the front here, and then all of the troops in here are the Ralpatha ones. So yeah, pleased to have that. Pleased to have that painted up. So that's probably more than I would normally be able to turn out in a 6-month period, but it's not. It doesn't represent 4 months solid work. Obviously, I've been doing other things, things for the university that I work for, but also been doing the Dreamstone Kickstarter stuff. Been doing some writing and some artwork for a new Woods book. I've been doing some commission sculpting and some commission terrain pieces. So there has been quite a lot of different things going on, but in terms of painting, this is what I've got done. So we'll see how it goes with the next 6 months. Please do leave a comment if there's stuff that you've seen over the last 6 months that you'd like to see more of. Also leave a comment if there's stuff that you think that perhaps I should do less of. We've done a few kind of lengthy tutorial videos. Are those better done outside of this Wednesday slot and keep the Wednesday slot clear? We've also done some kind of how-to roleplay and miniatures game videos for the Dreamstone stuff outside of this Wednesday slot. Maybe you'd like to see it inside this Wednesday slot. We haven't done a lot of Factious Waste coverage. Maybe you'd like to see that. We've done a bit of Woods coverage, but if lockdown's lifting, we may be able to do some more of that. So perhaps you'd like to see that, or perhaps you'd like to see a bit more of the tutorials or the insight into how we get our stuff cast and made and developed, and the insides of running the business. So entirely up to you. Do let us know what you'd like to see over the next 6 months, and I will try and oblige. Okay, well, thank you for joining us, and see you next week.